Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachadhi. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Parivrata Ishtadarshata Srimad Divine Grace, Ace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Parivrata Ishtadarshata Srimad Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacārī Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Can you bring me the book, Chad? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Seventh Canto, Science of God, Chapter 12, The Perfect Society for Spiritual Classes, Text 7. Varjayat Pramada Gatam Agrihasto Brihad Vrataha Indriyani Pramatini Haranti Api Yatir Manaha Varjayat Pramadagatam Agrasta Brihadbrataha Indriyani Pramatini Harantyapi Yatir Manaha Yatirmana. Varja, how do you say it? Yate. Yate. Varjayet pramadagatam agrasta brihadbrataha indriyani pramatini harantyapi yatirmanaha Varjayet. Yate? Okay. Varjayet pramadagatam agrasta brihadbrataha indriyani pramatini harantyapi yatirmanaha Would you like to chant? Word by word. Varjayet. Must give up. Pramadagatam. Talking with women. Gṛhastha-āśrama. A person who has not accepted the gṛhastha-āśrama. A brahmacārī or sannyāsī. Brihad-vrataha. Invariably observing the vow of celibacy. Indriyani, the senses. Pramatini, almost always unconquerable. Haranti, take away. Api, even. Itehe, of the sannyāsī. Manaha, the mind. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. A brahmacārī, or one who has not accepted the gṛhastha-āśrama, family life, must rigidly avoid talking with women or about women, for the senses are so powerful that they may agitate even the mind of a sannyāsī, a member of the renounced order of life. Purport. Brahmacārya essentially means the vow not to marry, but to observe strict celibacy, brihad-vrata. A brahmacārī or sannyāsī should avoid talking with women or reading literature concerning talks between man and woman. The injunction restricting association with women is the basic principle of spiritual life. Associating or talking with women is never advised in any of the Vedic literatures. The entire Vedic system teaches one to avoid sex life so that one may gradually progress from brahmacārya to gṛhastha, from gṛhastha to vanaprastha, and from vanaprastha to sannyas, and thus give up material enjoyment, which is the original cause of bondage to this material world. The word brihad-vrata refers to one who has decided not to marry, or in other words, not to indulge in sex life throughout his entire life. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kadidavachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yakipatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vancha Kopadribhishta Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Can you open that door, Aviral, a little bit? Translation. Again, a brahmacārī, or one who's not accepted the gṛhastha-āśrama, family life, must rigidly avoid talking with women or about women, for the senses are so powerful that they may agitate even the mind of a sannyāsī, a member of the renounced order of life. Who is that? Oh, no, that's okay. They'll stop in a minute. Money B and Francisco. Having a good time out there. So, if one joins the brahmacārī ashram, in talking about the modern world, modern brahmacārī ashram, they will have the experience after a number of years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or like Dravida Prabhu, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. They will have the experience that they will see many men join as brahmacārīs, and many of them will leave, not as brahmacārīs. Means they will move to the gṛhastha-āśrama, hopefully. Sometimes people don't move to the gṛhastha-āśrama, they just give up Krishna consciousness or whatever. But so yeah, hopefully they move on to a responsible gṛhastha-āśrama. But a brahmacārī who has been around for a number of years, they have experienced that these men who join the ashram, a lot of them, they will say that, yes, I want to be a brahmacārī for the rest of my life. It's a common mentality. For whatever reason, maybe they think it's an awesome thing to do, or maybe they see other people in the society who have been brahmacārīs their whole life, or sannyāsīs or serving as sannyāsīs, and they think, yes, I want to do that. Like there's one devotee in Honolulu, and he was saying how he had this idea. That was his idea. He said he wanted to be a brahmacārī and then eventually become a sannyāsī. And he's a scholarly type, studying and so on. But yeah, just fate, or whatever you want to say, had a different plan for him. He's not a brahmacārī. In fact, he has a wife, and in fact, he has 2 sons. But that was his idea in the beginning. So in this way, we see that there's a lot of people who have this idea that, yes, I'll be a brahmacārī throughout my life. Here, that's being mentioned here, brihad-vrata, this vow not to marry, but to observe strict celibacy, brihad-vrata, the terrible vow. So then the question is, for the devotees here, you could raise your hands. The question is, why is that? Because if you have all these young men joining, and they think it's an awesome idea to be a brahmacārī throughout their life, which it is. It's a great idea, actually. It's wonderful. If a person could do it, it's absolutely wonderful in so many ways. But why do so many give up that idea? Does anybody have any ideas you'd like to share? Please, somebody? Okay, Dravida Prabhu and then Chad. We could pass the mic around. If everyone could just give one answer, because there's different answers.
Well, the easy answer is Maya is so strong, and our determination is so weak. I mean, Prabhupada said something like that.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's one thing to you know, to be determined at first, you know, it is a challenge, and it's also, as Prabhupada said many times, the best way to speed up your advancement is to stay aloof from that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a challenge, especially in this world, in the West. I often, soon after I came here, I'm sorry, I'm getting too long.
That's okay.
I was thinking, this is about the least likely place for brahmacārī ashram, you know, 3 blocks from a Southern California beach. And I remember on July 4th, before they outlawed drinking, it was like,
yeah, on the beach.
Every lawn was
beach.
full of beer cans. On July 5th, the morning, you know, so it's a challenge because the inherent desire is there, young man, you know, and so forth. And there's so many temptations, so many ways that you can lose your concentration and get dragged back. So it's a constant struggle.
Yeah,
but it's worth it.
Okay. Any other ideas not similar to that? Because if you give an idea similar, then that doesn't really count.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's okay. Let me think of it. Well, Sukanta has one, I think.
Any other ideas? There's other ideas out there.
Because one wants a child.
Okay. All right. Because one wants a child. Sure. Any other ideas? Okay. We have Matt. We have Veer Chandra Prabhu here. He seems to have some ideas.
I think it's one of the idea that this is lack of faith and lack of determination to do it. Like
okay, that's interesting.
It's short.
Some people also just have different natures. Some people are more just psychologically and physically comfortable with more independence, or having like a other person in their life, especially like having the you could say the energy of the opposite sex in their life helps motivate them. Not necessarily like in terms of lust or something like that, but it's just a better arrangement according to their physical makeup and mental makeup.
Okay. Any other ideas? I think Ramapati Prabhu has one.
In India, some people think, oh, if I remain in the ashram all my life, who's going to look after me when I get old? Mm. So they feel insecure. So that's it's many in India, especially.
Interesting.
Yeah,
which we would say maybe that goes into the realm, like Veer Chandra was saying, the realm of lack of faith. Because if you think, oh, who will take care of me? Whereas the 6 symptoms of surrender, the idea is that, well, Krishna will take care of me somehow or other. Yes.
Yeah. So as it is about devotee, I think like sometimes they think if we are two, like as far I can by myself, if we are two, we can do something better for Krishna.
You sound like a married man. Are you a married man? No, he is a married man. He has a wife, so she might be. Yeah, they feel that maybe if there was 2, not just 1, maybe if there's 2, then I could do more. Yeah. So any other ideas? Okay, Dweja Money. I wasn't expecting all these ideas. So many ideas.
Often we also hear that devotees who stay in the brahmacārī ashram, they cannot develop a very deep relationship with other brahmacharis. And also they cannot find a particular role in the brahmacārī ashram, so they want to try something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be to lack of friendship or lack of a mission. I mean, if someone has a mission as a brahmachari, then they think, oh yeah, I have something to live for, I have a mission, I have a purpose, And aside from having a mission and a purpose, I actually have friends who we could simultaneously engage in the mission together. So become more happy like that. So sometimes that's lacking, and they think, all right, well, let me get out of here quick. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So maybe family pressures that pull somebody back out, or even captured and reprogrammed.
Yeah, family pressures is an interesting one. A lot of the times that's not so seen in the West because it's kind of lack of family love or lack of family structure or there's a broken families. Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there was one story that devotees tell, short story, that there was one brahmacārī, he joined, and all his family came, and they're all crying and this and that, and Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur actually told him to hide under the bed. And then they're asking, where's our son, and we want our son back. And then Bhakti-siddhanta, he said, I don't know where he is. And then they went away crying. And then he told this boy that you should understand that this is Maya, your family coming and crying. They're trying to take you away from Krishna, because that's what they're doing. They don't care about his Krishna consciousness. They care about the son plugging into the material world and being a good son and whatever, good family member. So you could say it's a cry of Maya. So yeah, that's there also. Oh really? Oh really? Wow.
Always see in Mayapur, it's like the parents or the relatives, they're crying, they won't leave until the son they go home. It's
Wow.
quite common. The attachment is very strong.
Apparently Bhajanarayan Swami's mother, she was across the street in the Los Angeles temple. She was saying, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna fast until my son leaves. And she was crying and this and that, and so yeah.
I remembered one more from Srimad Bhagavatam, it's 11th canto. I don't remember exactly who speaks. Maybe I think it's Uddhava Gita, so Krishna, that demigods when some person on
Make an advancement.
they
send
try to stop it in different ways, and one of the ways they send some try to broke this vow celibacy.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, it mentions that. I like to find that quote because that verse came up in some class I was attending recently online. So yeah, it was interesting. I like to see exactly what it says, but it says something like that. But you think, oh, are the demigods really going to get envious of some earthly beings? They're like, man, this guy's been a brahmacārī for a while. Let's send some. Are they that scared? Is brahmacārī going to take over their position or something in the heavenly planets? So, anyways. Yeah, so there's different reasons. Dharmaraj said one reason, okay, a person might just want to have a child. It's actually a big concern in people's mind. It's something that people really want, apparently. They really want that. Yes, I want to have a child. Of course, it's not advised that you have a child and then you just go back to the brahmacārī ashram. It's like, oh, well, this brahmacārī wants to have a child. He goes and he has a child, and then he just leaves the child on the mother, and he just goes back to the ashram. That's not advised. If you want to have a child, you have to take care properly. So yeah, maybe lack of faith. Oh, who will take care of me when I'm old? I have no friends. I don't have any friends in the ashram. Or just by nature, it might not be one's nature. That's a big thing too. Apparently, Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he looked at someone's hand, he had some ability to do that. It's amazing, huh? If you're like, Guru Maharaj, should I continue in the brahmacārī ashram? He's like, let me look at your hand. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he looked at someone's hand and he said, oh, you should get married. It's interesting. I did that. So, yeah, just according to one's nature, they may not be suited. Now, this is some thoughts that I had that were different, but but you also had thoughts that I didn't have. So, anyways, sharing like that. But one thing is that it actually may be according to someone's nature. They may actually be able to pull it off. But because they're not careful, like this particular verse is saying, one has to be careful. Associated with the opposite sex. Now you could say, oh, what if the brahmacārī is asexual? But one has to be careful associating with the opposite sex, because that power, that energy is very strong. So one reason that one may not be able to be a brahmacārī, even if by nature they could do it, is because they're not careful and following these particular rules and regulations. Or, for example, let's say they just commit a lot of offenses. Maybe they're able to do it, but then they're just like being really offensive to devotees or the holy name, or, there's so many offenses. So then they're not able to be a brahmacārī because it doesn't work. So you have offenses, you have wasn't in one's nature. So you have different things like that. And as Dravida Prabhu was saying, the material energy is very strong. You could say the material desires are strong. So in this way, there's different reasons. So those are some reasons why someone may not be able to do it. And I guess if you just look at it in an opposite way, or if you want to term it a positive way, whatever we just stated, if you look at it in a positive way, just like when we talk about offenses to the holy names, it says you should not blaspheme devotees. All right, well, what do you do? Yes, you praise devotees. Okay, you should not be inattentive while chanting japa. Okay, well, what do? You're attentive. So for every negative, there's a positive. So we could look at it in a positive way. If one wants to be a brahmacārī, then you just do the opposite of what we all just said. But again, maybe it may not be one's nature or whatever. So that has to be decided in consultation with the spiritual master and other senior devotees. But this particular verse is saying that yes, one has to be careful. Of course, our particular view, I would say, largely when we say our, what am I talking about? Who's our? Does that mean ISKCON? There's a lot of views in ISKCON, but at least my understanding of Srila Prabhupada's idea is that we're different from, for example, the Swami Narayan group. The sannyāsīs are extremely strict, and people would say to a fault. One fault is that they accept their leader as God, but that's another story. That's the biggest fault. They make huge temples, like, I don't know how much, they spend, I don't know, probably $20 million or more, $40 million. A lot of money. If you just drive up the coast here going towards LA, we just happened to drive, remember Dvijamani and Tyler, we were together in the good old days when Tyler used to love me. Now he's rejected me. Maybe he's listening. But we were just driving, we just happened to drive by. We said, oh, there's a temple. I said, well, you two want to stop? And they said, yeah. I said, okay, let's stop. So we stopped, and we're actually heading to the Bay Area. So we stopped, and we said, let's check out the temple. So we went in there, and we spoke with some people. And yeah, I mean, the temple is very beautiful. very beautiful, like super intricate. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like every wall is just intricately carved to like the maximum level. Yeah, the deities are there. They have Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. They have Radha, Krishna. They have many deities around, but they also have their leaders there in the form of deities that are worshipped as God. That's my understanding. And Tyler was, of course, picking people's brain there, and he's like, "So what's your philosophy? And do you accept him as God?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, why do you accept him as God?" He's like, "Well, he did miracles. He helped people and saved people." And then Tyler, we talked about it later, he's like, "Well, Prabhupada also saved people and helped people, and doesn't mean he's God." And they practically neglect the Vedic literature. They have their own book they wrote, which is a lot smaller. I was thinking, wow, you could become very learned in this tradition very fast, because they just have this main book. $100 million to build that temple. That's a lot. So, but one of the things of the sannyāsīs, the strict, Srila Prabhupada actually, these two sannyāsīs came to meet Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan, I believe. Two sannyāsīs, not the ones who people worship as God, but some of their minions. Oh, sorry, I don't want to be. Some of their followers, sannyāsīs. They came, and they spoke with Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada happened to be talking with one of his disciples' mothers, I believe it was. And then the sannyāsīs, they came in and they wouldn't even look at her, because that's one of their principles. Not only do they talk, but they don't look at women at all, like zero in their face or zero. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. So then Srila Prabhupada, he commented, he said, "Oh yeah, because he understood. He said, 'Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that,' well, what he said, yeah, one of my disciples, they wanted me to speak with their mother, so it's, and there was other devotees in the room also. It wasn't the principle of a sannyasi, you never speak with a woman alone. But, so then they went on with their conversation. Then Srila Prabhupada got to the point, and he got to the point of questioning their philosophy. And there was a bit of a, Prabhupada was kind of, say, give them a hard time a bit about them accepting their founder as God. So, of course, that the sannyasis strictly follow, and that they're vegetarians, and there's so many positive things in a sense, but at least philosophically we could see how we disagree. But in terms of dealings with women, Srila Prabhupada didn't operate like that. Srila Prabhupada had a long night. Srila Prabhupada spoke with women for the purpose of giving them Krishna consciousness, not for the purpose of enjoying their feminine energy. He didn't speak with women on that basis. He spoke with women on the basis of educating. And then, of course, Srila Prabhupada did not do that excessively. He would do that sometimes. But when we talk about women being, of course, it's about how a person sees women. It's about how a person sees the world. People could see the world completely devoid of Krishna, and they could see the world that, hey, I'm the main enjoyer here. Everything's meant for my enjoyment. We would say that's Maya. But for a devotee, advanced, more and more advanced devotee, they see that, okay, everyone is spirit souls, and more than that, everyone is servants of Krishna. And my duty is to try to give them Krishna consciousness. Of course, still, they are careful, because one shouldn't think that they're liberated and they could just, hey, Prabhu, where are you going? I'm going to preach at the rave. Oh yeah, well, good luck preaching at the rave. Let's see how long you preach at the rave for. Let's see how long you last. Especially if somebody has that conditioning. So one always has to be careful. But in material consciousness, if a man sees a woman in a material way, then yes, that is Maya for the man. Woman is Maya for man. Similarly, if a woman sees a man in a material way, it's the same thing. It's Maya. The Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. That's my proof here. I just said a statement, and then I'm going to prove it. The Srimad Bhagavatam mentions this in a verse. This is Canto 3, Canto 3, Chapter 31, The Movements of the Living Entities, text 42. So this is Lord Kapila explaining, I'll read. A woman, therefore, should consider her husband, her house, and her children to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death. Doesn't sound like a very... Just as the sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer. So you have the hunter, he's out there playing the flute nicely. It's probably, I don't know about nicely, it's probably a rudimentary flute playing, but he's out there playing the flute. And then the deer listens. Oh wow, that's beautiful. Just caught by the sound, freezes. And then what? And the hunter shoots. So it's a similar principle. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, which we could look at briefly. It's a very enlightening purport, actually. In these instructions of Lord Kapila Deva, it is explained that not only is woman the gateway to hell for man, but man is also the gateway to hell for woman. It is a question of attachment. A man becomes attached to a woman because of her service, her beauty, and many other assets. And similarly, a woman becomes attached to a man for his giving her a nice place to live, ornaments, dress, and children. Of course, you could say some of this may seem very traditional reasons, but still, it's existing, these principles. It is a question of attachment for one another. As long as either is attached to the other for such material enjoyment, the woman is dangerous for the man, and the man is also dangerous for the woman. But if the attachment is transferred to Krishna, both of them become Krishna conscious, and then marriage is very nice. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends anasaktasya vishayan nitarham upayunjitaha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchate. This is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 255. Man and woman should live together as householders in relationship with Krishna, only for the purpose of discharging duties in the service of Krishna. Engage the children, engage the wife, and engage the husband, all in Krishna conscious duties. And then all these bodily or material attachments will disappear. Since the via medium is Krishna, the consciousness is pure, and there's no possibility of degradation at any time. So, generally, in the material world, in material existence and material consciousness, very bad combination. Because woman replaces Krishna for the man, and man replaces Krishna for the woman. They forget completely. But, like Srila Prabhupada says here, for those who are by fate or by destiny or by nature or whatever, they're in that situation, then they should have Krishna in the center, which is a challenge, but as Srila Prabhupada said, it's possible here. So, all right, are there any question or comment? Which one that I just read? Okay, just one second. Let me just.
42.
331, 42. It's a great chapter, Movements of Living Entities.
Yeah. I think over the years, many countless decades I've been in ISKCON, all very blissful. One thing that I noticed is that the original enthusiasm one feels, if you get involved in Krishna consciousness and you really want to be serious, then you want to join up and you don't just get married right away. Men or women, they're single, Of course, there's an ashram for men. And the program that Prabhupada established is very potent for giving you the higher taste of Krishna consciousness. I always like to point out, unfortunately, when I joined, it was standard to go out 3 hours a day for Harinam, no matter who you were in the temple. And so the day was organized like that. And morning and evening program, very ecstatic, the deities.
How many mridanga players do you have on those Harinams? 3, 4,
Usually about
5?
2 or 3.
They would take turns?
But sometimes they would play together. They're very expert. Jai Sachinandan, he practically grew up in the movement. He joined at 14 or something.
Oh, really? Wow.
Vishnu Gada was there and some others. And so anyway, it was very potent program to give you that higher taste and give you the hope, giving the confidence that you could actually maintain distance from the opposite sex, and even though they're there, but over time, ISKCON changed. Even a few years in, it wasn't that 3 hours a day. There were so many other things going on. Book distribution became very big, and that was that was pretty elite. There were 4 or 5 serious book distributors, and that was a lot. So you had to kind of find your shelter in the things that we always did, the japa and the books and the things like that in your service. But it was a challenge for many because they didn't have the ability to make that transfer, and then there was just the material energy is always ready to come back in, and so that's one of the things that we have to be aware of, how to form your devotional life so you're getting a very high sweet taste of Krishna consciousness every day.
Yeah.
That enables you to stay strict.
Thank you. So we got to take shelter of Harinam. Let's see. Yes. I think, Dvijamani, you have something? Okay.
Just want to ask you, Balaram Prabhu, what, at the time of difficulty with sex desire, what helped you to stay inspired to continue your brahmacārya? What was your shelter? If you could share that, of course, with us.
Well, Radha Giridhari are very merciful, and in the association of Radha Giridhari, there in the mornings and then serving on the altar. So the shelter of the deities was always a great shelter for me, and of course the shelter of other devotees. You have Dravida Prabhu example showing up, right? Great vow every morning, doing his service, and also Ananda Tirtha Maharaj was there, so still is a great shelter for me. A bit different now in terms of practical operation, practical. I don't reach out to him so much. I still do from time to time. But the association of the devotees, the association of the deities, and then always trying to chant as sincere as I can, the japa and kirtan. And so, a combination of all of these things was a shelter for me, and still is. Any other Yes.
In
Ramapati.
and I just a sannyasi was asked, a guru sannyasi, a similar question. I guess he was joking. He says, "You take an ice cold shower."
That's funny. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Vrindavan in December with His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, and I got a chance to go in his room, and there is a place where he does his japa, and there was picture of the deities. I thought it must be Radha Ras Vihari from Bombay, but it was Radha Giridhari.
Oh, really?
And yeah,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, he carries Radha Giridhari, Gaur Nitai, and Srila Prabhupada's. I think you gave that those pictures to him. Someone was telling me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I do remember in his. Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of Radha Giridhari. Yeah. Well, I've talked to a number of sannyasis, like Bhakti Vikas Swami, Hanumat Prasad Swami, Guru Prasad Swami, quite a few swamis, especially when I was arranging some Zoom classes with them. And all of them are saying, "Oh yes, Radha Giridhari." Like, we remember Radha Giridhari. And they're so beautiful, so merciful, sweet deities. So many of them said that. Like I saw Bhakti Vikas Swami in North Carolina years ago. I was talking to him and he's like, "Oh, you have Radha Giridhari there," and he was remembering. So
I met Bhavananda Prabhu in Singapore airport on my way to a couple of years ago. And he also said, "Oh, you're from," I said, "I'm Sandy." "Oh, Radha Giridhari. Oh, how is the fountain there? You have a fountain?" So, Bhavananda Prabhu. He was GVC for LA, so he used to come here early days. So he still remembers Radha Giridhari.
Yeah. Okay, I think you have something? Sankarshan? Yeah?
Just see if we could talk about, I guess, what happens to the devotee who breaks this vow, like preemptively, you could say, like the backlash or the whiplash. It's like someone who commits like such.
You mean if they take the vow of brahmacārya and then they break that vow?
Yeah.
Well, Srila Prabhupada, he was on a morning walk one time in Mayapur. And there's a bunch of sannyasis there. It's like a traditional scene. Srila Prabhupada walking in Mayapur with a bunch of sannyasis with the dandas, and classic scene. So then they would ask Prabhupada questions. So one devotee was asking Srila Prabhupada about sannyas, and he was saying, "Srila Prabhupada, what if someone gives up their sannyas? Just like we see in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected Chota Haridas because there was some issue with his associating with women. It was very slight, actually. It wasn't. And then Srila Prabhupada said, yes, and one should give up their life. And then, Harishari Prabhu, he recalls how Vishnujan Swami was there. I mean, that's what he says, that he was there, and when Prabhupada said that, Vishnu Swami fell to the back of the group. Now, exactly what Vishnu Swami did, was there any improper association? I don't know. It's not clearly described by him or anybody else. But anyways, he fell to the back of the group. And then Srila Prabhupada went on to explain how, well, actually, this is not my standard. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm his servant. I need all the help I could get. So if somebody gives up their sannyas, they shouldn't just, go commit suicide and jump in the Ganga, but they should remain as devotees, and they should go to the gṛhastha-āśrama. They should serve like that. And one devotee was saying that, Srila Prabhupada, sometimes we think of following these very strict principles in the Vedas, if we were to follow these, he said that a lot of people would commit suicide, there'd be no Hare Krishna movement. So one should just continue. That's the basic. Whatever happens, one should always continue in their Krishna consciousness. Yes, Triveda Prabhu, I think yes. And we'll end with that.
First of all, I was surprised to learn that Chodahari Das was not a sannyasi. Although Prabhupada in the books it says, renounced order of life. You're in the renounced order of life and you're looking at women, that's what it says in the translation. But anyway, but he was at least a brahmacārī and he was associate. So Rebhatinandan Swami, who was Vishnujan's cousin, actually, he told the story of that morning walk. And the thing is, the CC had just come out. The whole book came out practically at once, That was the whole thing. And it caused a lot, a lot of new things came out, and that was one of them, this Chodahari Das thing. And so the sannyasis asked about that, and Prabhupada said, yes, that's the remedy, And then one devotee, one sannyasi said, Prabhupada, if that's the standard, then, practically all the sannyasis will have to leave because they have to talk to women and everything. So, well, I'm not so strict as Lord Chaitanya, like that. And so but by that time, Vishnudan had dropped back, and then he dropped out. He left into Mayapur and he went to the Triveni, and he eventually entered into the water. It came out. There were some Brahmins who had told him what, and everything. So Vyasaki came here one time, and several times, and he had written these books, which is a lot of research on Vishnujan Swami and Jayananda. Those are the two main subjects of the book. And I asked him, well, was there some fall down? He said, no, it wasn't a fall down. And he'd tell me what it was. But what I can imagine happened, because he had a son. He had a son by this lady, and then he just joins up, and he became Vishnujan Swami. He's all gone. And so I can imagine, she had wrote him a letter or something. Your son miss you so much. Can we just meet with you one time, and this and that, And of course, you're not supposed to do that, with your wife especially. The son is one thing. And that must have been what happened, because he insisted there was no actual fall down. But he saw that as equivalent to what Chodahari Das had done, and he said, okay, Prabhupada said that's strict, and boom, he did,
Yeah, he just disappeared. He left Mayapur. Vishnujan Swami, who's a very famous devotee at the time, still. And there's some account that his danda was in his room, and he just left, and then he just disappeared. And then there was some account that there's these Brahmins, and they saw this American sannyasi just enter the water and not come out.
Yeah.
So he took his life.
And Prabhupada showed by practically he had two that I know of sannyasis who fell down. He married one of them to the lady. That was.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the other was Madhudvish.
Yeah.
Madhudvish Swami was so, the king, the kirtan, he did so much service. The New York temple, two sannyasis left from there, but, and he fell down there, and then all the sannyasis are telling everyone about it, and Prabhupada was angry, now he's going to have a hard time coming back. Yeah. But he continued. He saw Prabhupada in 1977, just before he left, and Prabhupada brought him, and he affectionately petted him. He said, gave him encouragement. And he continued leading kirtan and everything, and he survived that, had children and everything.
Yeah, Madhudvisha Prabhu, great kirtan leader.
Yeah.
He used to lead kirtan at the LA Prabhupada Festival. And he told Srila Prabhupada, he said, oh, Srila Prabhupada had a son, and he said, I named him Mumbai, I named him after you. Prabhupada was happy, so. Okay, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.